Hello, my name is Professor Brian Bake. I teach accounting at Montgomery College, and I'll be talking with you today about Part 6, Making a Financial Plan for Your Business Plan. If we look at the instructions for the financial plan, you can see that it includes two things. In the financial plan section of your report, you should talk about startup expenses and list all of your major expenses. In particular, we're going to talk about the fact that expenses can be variable in nature or fixed. Also, it mentions that you should talk about your projections for the next 3-year period. So in talking about your projections for the next 3-year period, I'm going to be talking to you about how to compute revenues and expenses. As you compute revenues and expenses, it's important to realize that you have to make certain assumptions. And the key to assumptions is to make sure that they're reasonable, they're based on all the information and knowledge that you have, and that your assumptions can be flexible in nature. When you're at the competition, people are going to be asking you how you made your assumptions, and they might question you on what changes you think might happen in the future. So think about what you think could happen in the future and how your elements of selling price, variable cost, and fixed cost could change. Finally, we see that you should have a contingency plan. And that really ties into what I've been talking about before about assumptions and thinking about the future. In particular, you should think about what should happen if you can't follow your business plan. What are you going to do to change your costs in the future? Can you reduce your cost? Can you increase your cost? Speaking of costs, let's take a look at the financial elements that you'll want to include in your plan. As you can see here, there are 4 ingredients that you need to think about. And the 4 ingredients are selling price, units, variable cost, and fixed cost. These are the important units that you need to consider when you are developing your business plan. Let's start with selling price. Selling price is easy. Figure out what you can sell your product for. So you'll have to estimate what the market can bear and what people are going to be willing to pay for your product. You are the units or quantity that you expect to sell. And of course, as you continue in business each year, you want the units that you sell to increase from year to year. You can see that revenue is equal to your selling price times the number of units that you sell. And by multiplying these two elements, you'll arrive at your sales revenue figure. After sales revenue, you want to think about what your expenses are going to be. And it's very important to consider expenses in terms of 2 different types: variable cost and fixed cost. In short, variable cost are expenses that increase if you make more units and they decrease if you make fewer units. An example, if I have a beer company, would be beer bottles. If I produce more beer, I need to have more bottles and I'll have more variable cost. If I produce no beer or fewer units of beer, I have less bottle cost because I don't need as many, and my variable cost in total will be lower. Finally, you have fixed cost. Fixed costs are over an interval of time, for example, per month. The classic example of a fixed cost is rent. Your rent might be, say, $2,000 a month. No matter how many bottles of beer you make, it's going to be $2,000. It's not going to go up or down in terms of what your rent is. In the long run, your rent might go up, but at least for the time being, it'll be fixed in nature. So you can see here that revenues minus expenses are equal to your net income. Let's take a look at an income statement here. And I recommend that you include projections like this in your report. And you can see that I have listed out revenues. I have my expenses here. These 2 are variable, and the bottom 2 are fixed in nature. So if we look at the report that we are looking at here, we can see that for Kuru, they have financial projections. And this is an excellent start because they talk about the assumptions that they make. So as I mentioned before, assumptions are very important. You want to talk about the assumptions that you're going to make that allow you to figure out the 4 different ingredients that you need to have for your financial projection section. And those 4 different ingredients are selling price, units, variable cost, and fixed cost. Here, they talk about what they can sell their product for and what their expectations are for the bottom line. With that being said, I wish you luck on your financial section of your report. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at my email address listed there, brian.bake@montgomerycollege.edu, or come visit me in my office. It's in Humanities 242. Thank you very much.